Hello and welcome, courageous Capricorns. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com, and I'm here to do your tarot astrology for the month of June 2020. And there is so much going on in the heavens for everyone at the moment. Really, until probably November this year, it's going to be full on, but particularly this month in June. If you haven't followed me before, I'll just give you a very quick rundown of what we'll do. I'll have a look first at your retrograding planets, what houses they fall in, so what areas of your life are going to be affected. Then I'll draw 2 tarot cards, which will be key themes for the month for you. We'll have a look at your horoscope. I'll do a tarot card reading week by week for you, and then finish up with a psychic summary, I guess. And so this is a bit of a combo of different esoteric modalities, and it's a bit different, so stick around, there's a lot on. So let's have a look at those retrograding planets now to see where they fall for you. First thing I must say about retrogrades is, by their very nature, they are disruptive. They're designed to shake you up, and they'll certainly do that, because this month there are 6 retrograding planets, 3 retrograding asteroids, and 2 eclipses. That's a lot in anybody's language to deal with. Excuse me. Alrighty, the other thing I must say, the dates that I'm giving you do not include the shadow period. The shadow period is either side of these dates, when the retrograde energy is either coming on or going off. Okay, so if you've got something particularly important to do and it's in a shadow period, I would try and put it off if possible. It's also important, if you have to make any really important decisions, that you keep on reviewing and reassessing them and going over these decisions, because when the planets turn direct again, there might be changes to those decisions. You might change your mind, or something else out of your control happens when the planet turns direct. Let's have a look at the most well-known retrograde first, Mercury. And this goes retrograde from the 17th of June to the 12th of July in Cancer, and it's happening in your 7th house of committed partnerships. So there could be misunderstandings, miscommunications. If you're writing to important partners about business, or maybe legalities even, or even your husband or wife, emails could be misconstrued or get lost or something like that. Technology often plays up, and this thing of signing agreements, sometimes you have to go back over them. Retrogrades generally are a great time for finishing up old things, but they're not a great time for starting new things. Okay, the next one I want to look at quickly is Venus retrograde from 13th of May to 25th of June in the emotional sign of Pisces, and this is in your 6th house of everyday habits, work, health and well-being. Now, Venus does look after your money as well as your relationships, art, beauty, peace and harmony. And so when Venus retrogrades, things could go a bit quiet in these areas. So you might find that perhaps your relationship just goes quiet, or there's not a lot of energy for it. Maybe you don't hear from the person for a while, or you're just both busy, and it's hard to connect again for some reason. Also to do with finances, your money supply could go a bit quiet. If you're used to working 5 days a week, you might go down to 4 or even 3. These are some of the possibilities with Venus retrograde. Mars is not going retrograde until September, thankfully. Jupiter is retrograde in your sign, okay, in your 1st house, your sign, from 13th of May to the 14th of September in practical, physical Capricorn. Okay, Jupiter normally likes to expand and increase whatever he touches. But retrograde, it could be that things are decreasing in some way. This is in your sign, so these are about your ambitions, your identity, the things that you regard as important. Maybe they're not as important for some reason. Maybe that energy that you normally put out into the world, you sort of bring it back and focus more on yourself. It is a great time if you have any addictions you want to let go of or bad habits. Jupiter can help you decrease things around you, and if you want to lose weight, this is a great time to really go on a diet or change your food, what you eat, your dietary regime. Okay, Saturn is also retrograde in your first house of self, 11th of May to 29th of September, again in physical earthy Capricorn. Again, I must say, it's a great time to go on a diet. It might be that it might be a sort of confluence of factors. Maybe you don't have the same amount of money coming in, so you're not eating out as much and you're not eating the fatty foods as much, and you're more strict with yourself. You've got more self-discipline, more responsibility. You're being called to manage your budget, and so you might be more careful about what you put in your body. And also, you know, if you're one for buying clothes all the time, you might actually cut back on your spend, on your fashion spend, because Saturn is calling you to be mature and responsible. Okay, so that's the best way to deal with Saturn retrograde, is to make sure you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, and that you're acting responsibly. Neptune is retrograde from 23rd of June to 28th of November in Pisces. Okay, so Neptune's a very spiritual planet and can give you a lot of great dreams and psychic flashes, and especially there in Pisces, where Neptune is completely at home. However, in this time during a retrograde, do be a bit cautious. Keep your feet on the ground, and any spiritual experiences you have, enjoy them, take note of them, write them down. But don't necessarily base your life decisions on them at this point, because sometimes we see the situation through a particular lens, but that doesn't apply in the physical world. So don't take your psychic flashes or dreams as being literal necessarily. Just be a little bit practical and cautious with it, because Neptune can give rise to delusions and illusions. Pluto is retrograde in your first house of self, 25th of April to 4th of October, again in Capricorn. Pluto is regarded as the planet of death, chaos and destruction. He also rules over the dark side of things like domination, control, manipulation, addictions, all of those darker things, where you lose control of yourself in some regard. However, there is a light side to Pluto, and that is the phoenix rising from the ashes. So this is all to do with you, because it's in your first house, and so this is your wants, the deepest core of you. This is not just wants, it's your deepest desires, you know, what you really desire in your heart, and it's also your identity. So you might find, you know, a part of you dying, and dying to the past, and setting your eyes to the future now, and looking at what the opportunities can bring. How are you going to change your life? You're being reborn in this period, courageous Capricorns, and I know it's not easy, but you know, when a baby's born, it's not easy. Generally, you've got to get down that birth canal, and unless you have a cesarean section and somebody lifts you out, and that makes issues later on in life, because you're waiting there for somebody to pull you out of the problem rather than sorting the problem out for yourself. But yeah, it doesn't mean that it's insurmountable. It's a challenge, yes, but this will bring a whole new era of transformation into your life. So it's a whole new cycle begins. It's like being born again under this influence. Okay, now let's have a look at what's going on in your horoscope. I'll just make that a little bit sharper. Okay, first thing I'm going to do now is draw 2 tarot cards and excuse me, 2 tarot cards which will be your theme for the month. Now I've already pre-shuffled these cards, Capricorn, but let's have a look and see what comes out for the first half of the month for you. And just can't find, what do I want? That one. I want that one. Okay. All right, closing my eyes now. I've got a flash of green. It's all about opportunities, growth, abundance. Verdant abundance are the words. Okay, so we come up with the 9 of Wands. This is really the end of a cycle. 9s in numerology are the end. You've been, working hard, filled with motivation, but like it or not, something is coming to an end and there's action to be taken still, but you could be feeling rather tired and even forlorn over the ending of something that you thought was going to last for a long time, and now you're about to begin again. Okay, so rest, don't expect too much of yourself now. The motivation will come again in the new cycle, okay, and all will be fine. So that's the beginning of the month. Let's have a look now for the second half of the month for you courageous Capricorns. I'm going with that card. Closing my eyes now. What do I see? I see a waterfall with, these rocky outcrops. So there's, a bit of rockiness to go through. But the water is coming and it's beautiful and crystal clear and clean. And these are your emotions. And yes, you'll get through this. And you know what? You're going to feel revitalized. This is going to improve your health and well-being when you get through this. Okay, so we come up with the 9 of Cups. This is your hopes and dreams. These are not your fantasies. Fantasies are different. Fantasies are what your head composes in a nice little story. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your heart, your deepest wishes coming from your heart, not your head. So there's a genie here, and the universe is hearing your hopes and dreams. Whatever you want to do, it's hearing you. And you'll see the ocean in the background here, which is symbolic of your subconscious, and then the ground here, which is about your earthly desires as well, and being practical. And she's got red here, which is, there will be time to take action on this. So be assured the universe hears you. Okay. Now, bearing that in mind, you've got 2 9s here, which indicate the end of a cycle. Okay, so a new cycle beginning for you soon. Now let's have a look at your horoscope. May 11 to June 27th, Mars in your 3rd house here gives you a lot of, third house, gives you a lot of drive and ambition and energy for communications. This is great if you have a small business. It's a great time to promote yourself. Blogging, writing, communications of all kinds. But do remember Mercury retrograde as well. So have backup plans. It's also to do with your local area. You could be more busy than usual, running around your local area and be quite active, engaging with other people, or perhaps distant family members, including your brothers and sisters. You might hear some information that you can pass on. With Mars there, there is a little bit of a tendency for arguments, so be cautious of that. It's a great time to attack intellectual problems rather than have it come out in your speech or in your communications. May 19th to June 20, Sun in your 6th house here of everyday work, health and well-being, which is fantastic because this will ensure that there's more insight and more awareness, even happiness. You're doing your best work now. Your health could improve. You could be feeling more vital and have a bit of energy to spare to do what you want to do, go out and enjoy yourself, or even engaging in sports and things like that. May 27 to August 4th, Mercury in your 7th house here. This shows a lot of activity and communications to do with your committed partnerships. These could be business partnerships or work partnerships, someone you've known for a very long time or that you're close to, or your husband or wife. Okay, you could be seeking advice about partnerships. Maybe you're going into partnership with somebody or into business with someone. But there's a sense of happiness and achievement around it. May 31st to June 3, Mars conjunct Mars. This is about making a fresh start, being full of energy and desire. Just make sure, as I said before, that you don't feel irritable and, somebody else cops it. May 31st to June 3, Venus conjunct Venus. Okay, so this is all about the desire for love and new romance. If you're looking for it, you could be feeling those feelings. June 1st to the 5th of June, Venus squares Mars. You might meet someone you're really, interested in, but there could be sort of disagreements, tangles or sparring between the two of you. Okay, so tangles in romance, or perhaps there's sort of like a demanding too much time or energy from a lover, and that person doesn't want to give what you want. So that's a whole other problem in itself. But there's some frustration there in love, strong sexual drive that maybe you can't fulfill, and tensions with the opposite sex in general. June 5, a lunar eclipse here in your 12th house. This is a great time for really looking deep down inside yourself, paying attention to your dreams, meditations, little flashes in the daytime, because this ensures transformation. A lunar eclipse is going to bring stuff up for you to look at and to release and heal. June 10th to June 15, Mercury trines Mars. This is a time for asserting your desires, sharp, clear action, and you're very decisive about it. Okay, it's a very beneficial energy influence. June 19 to July 22, Sun in your 7th house. So it's moving here up to here, and this is about mutual benefit for partners, insight, awareness, happiness, and a deep respect for one another. June 15 to July 3, Jupiter conjunct Pluto. You might be looking for some personal recognition. It's about bettering yourself and your life, expanding your horizons, more freedom, more prosperity and well-being. Sometimes people don't want you to have that. They want you to stay where you are. They might not want you to, expand. Here's Jupiter here, and right next to Pluto. They might not want you to expand, and so they try to hold on to the past and hold on to you in that sort of situation. But you'll come out of it and you'll feel renewed, and you'll be expanded. Your life will be expanded. June 21st is a solar eclipse in your 7th house. This is a new beginning. A pre-existing partnership, you could start something new together, or there's a deepening in the relationship, a new cycle begins, or perhaps it's a new partnership or a new relationship. June 26 to January 6, Mars moves into your 4th house here. There's always so much, happening right here on the edge. So really it should be there, but often I'll just put it over there somewhere. But I've popped it in there. where are we? Mars into your 4th house. So this gives you a lot of motivation around the home and family. You could be doing jobs around the house, do-it-yourself jobs. Again, do be careful of irritability. You're decisive and full of energy to get stuff done. Sometimes people don't agree. You want to paint the bedroom wall purple and they want it pink or something. You might not agree on every single point. That's how it goes. 30th of June to December 17th, Saturn moves into your 2nd house of finances here. Every single sign has issues around their finances, it seems, for June. This is about taking responsibility for your finances. And it's a good time to do a budget and account for all of your money, right, rather than spending it willy-nilly at this time. June 28th to July 2nd, Mars sextile Saturn, all about self-discipline, maturity, perseverance, be determined, and work quietly. You'll have the stamina and concentration for positive outcomes. There's accomplishments and of real practical value, and because it's here in your 2nd house, this will help you with your finances. So that's good news. Now let's have a look at your tarot, and just remember these 2 cards that have come up, the 9 of Cups and the 9 of Wands. Okay, the ends of the cycles. Right, maybe write that down, and let's have a look what comes up week by week for you courageous Capricorns for June. First week of June we're looking at now, and I'm going to go with that card right there, closing my eyes. I've got a flash of yellow gold like the sun. I'm in a cave and there's a throne, a wooden throne with a whole lot of water, like a waterfall coming down this wooden throne. This is very interesting. Never seen this before. But again, and you are quite, practical and stable. So this might be a bit surprising to you that there's emotions coming up over the top of your practicality. Okay, that's all right. You're allowed to be emotional, especially at the moment. We're in unbelievable times, really unprecedented times, the media keeps telling us. But it is unprecedented. I think that's fair. It is unprecedented. Okay, excuse me. Got this cough. Okay, here's the gold, the yellow. Okay, she is moving away from the past. She is making decisions. Swords are about decisions. The traditional interpretation of this card is somebody who is a lower energy, stealing or taking something from you. I don't really see it so much as that. I see it as someone moving on from the past and making decisions, cutting off what she needs to cut off. And because they're into the ground, these swords, they've got real practical consequences. So I see you moving away from, difficulties, making difficult decisions to do that, but moving on with life. There's some tense in the background which can indicate travel, but it's more likely that these are more about chakras. This shape, this triangular shape, represents the chakras, and the doors open. So these are parts of your body that are opening up, so releasing more energy. So could give you more physical vitality this month. That's good news in that sense. Okay, I don't really think it relates to people stealing things from you so much. It's a possibility, but not likely. Second week of June for courageous Capricorns. Let's see what we come up with. Going with that card now. I've got a flash of bright blue like the sky in front of me. I see boats, sailing ships on the ocean in front of me, making good speed. The water is a little bit choppy. I can see the waves, little waves out there with their white caps on the top of the waves, but it's more exhilarating and exciting. Wow. And we come up with the 5 of Swords. Okay, this is all about domination and control. I don't find that exciting, but each to their own. Look, there's some decisions to be made here. Maybe excitement, freedom and exhilaration is possible when you get through this. Okay, these swords, you need to make decisions about if you're down here with somebody dominating or controlling or manipulating you. Okay, do you want to stay in this position? How do you get out of this position? You get out by using your head. Your thinking can get you out. It could also be your thinking that is doing this to you. It is making you feel downtrodden. Your thoughts might be really negative and you only see, the bad side of the situation. Because even, if you lose your job, that means you're free and you can start again. Excuse me, coughing away. It's up to you, the thoughts that are in your mind. How are you going to make the best of a bad situation? Or alternatively, this could be you here, where it is you dominating somebody else, okay? Or your mind dominating another part of yourself. The masculine, the controlling part that wants you to work all the time or wants you to do something, and it's on your back about doing something. See, on your back. Okay, so you've got this you don't need it, so be free. The first step is to realize that you are in fact being dominated in some way. So maybe make a list of all the ways you're being dominated and make some new decisions about how you can be out on that ocean in your subconscious, free and feeling exhilarated, because that is a possibility for you. Middle of the month to the third week of June for courageous Capricorns. Just before I go on, I'm still on this. Do you have, as a Capricorn, very earthy, practical people? Is your own sense of practicality weighing you down? Can you have more fun in life? Can you have more leisure? Can you allow time just to be so that you're not working all the time or mulling over things? These are questions that only you can answer. Okay, now, middle of the month to third week, I'm going with that card there. Closing my eyes, what do I see? I see a clock and the time is ticking over, and they're saying be patient. The time is going, is flying past, and the time will come for you to do what you want to do. Two of Swords again. Okay, this is the third Swords card in a row, so I'm really feeling this is about your thoughts. Things from the past come back. You could be feeling nostalgic or have these old memories come back, and somehow there's something in your life now that triggers these things to come up. But whatever you're dealing with, just remember, look back here, and there are reflections of the past, and these reflections can be sort of influencing your mind now in your current life, in your situation now. If you throw a stone, a pebble out onto the pond, you can see it skip across the pond, and then it goes into the water, and these sort of circles, or harmonics I like to call them, ripple out, and there's many harmonics, and see these reflections here. These are harmonics of your past. So what is happening in the middle of the month to the third week of the month, where the past is sort of coming back as a harmonic to the situation that's happening right now? And there's some decisions for you to make and some things for you to cut off, perhaps. Maybe you need to cut with the past. Finally, be done with it. Forgive yourself, forgive the other person, and move on. Fourth week of the month for courageous Capricorns. And a whole heap of cards just fell out then. But I can't read all of those. So we're just looking for one card for the fourth week of June. Let's go with that one. Closing my eyes now. What do I see? I see two candles that are lit. These are the hopes. They're saying be positive. It's going to be okay. Your hopes and dreams can be fulfilled. Okay, we have the King of Cups. Finally, away from the swords and into the emotions, away from the mental machinations that drive us into the emotions. When I get a king or a queen, I know these are aspects of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. This is God or the universe or spirit, whatever terminology you want to use. God's representative on earth is royalty, to act as a guide or a role model for us. Not so relevant now, particularly in countries that don't have royalty, such as the US, but still the energy is there that God has a representative on earth to help us, to guide us, okay? And the King of Cups is guiding us to feel our feelings and to express ourselves. This is a very kind, generous, benevolent energy who is here to help you. He is sitting on a shell. The ocean in the background, the subconscious in the background, bringing up energy of a positive nature. As you express your emotions, that will give you more vitality and free up space, okay? The gold color here in the background, reminiscent of the solar plexus, and indicates the fatherhood figures, the authority figures, and it's also goal-oriented behavior, confidence, self-esteem. This energy will help you. There could be someone in your life, an older, more experienced, practical person, or somebody that you really look up to them, and they could be helping you out in some way. Last 2 days of the month for courageous Capricorns. Okay. Closing my eyes now. What do I see? I see the colour green. It's aqua green, actually. Blue and green. Blue and green. They used to say in the old days, blue and green shouldn't be seen unless there's a colour in between, which I definitely do not think is correct. I love blue and green together. It's the expression of your heart's desires through your throat chakra. Okay, I'm looking at some cupboards in spirit and pressing some buttons, some gold buttons. I see a snake, which indicates transformation. Okay, so this could be because remember you had the lunar eclipse in your 12th house of your subconscious, and this could relate to that, the transformation going on within. We come up with the Page of Wands. This is good news about your motivations and inspirations. There's growth and opportunity here, action to be taken. Could be about travel, but again, I think that it's probably about your chakras opening up. See, we've got the same sort of triangular shape, and chakras opening up will release old energy from the past, and that's when you'll have those memories coming back from the past. Oh, I don't know what's going on downstairs. I'm in the studio and there's all manner of noise down there because I'm live streaming, no doubt. So I'm sorry if you're hearing all of that noise. So there's expression here from the throat chakra. There's action to be taken, and there's energy coming up to be healed and released. Okay, so we've got wands, we've got cups, and 3 swords. So the beginning of the month, you might be really worried and concerned about something, but then you get into the feelings more as the month goes on, and as you express your feelings, then you come up with a solution. So sorry, that's really good news. Alrighty, so I'm just going to do a psychic summary for you now, and closing my eyes, courageous Capricorns. Okay, Spirit wants me to tell you well done and congratulations. There's like a medal going on, being put on around your neck at the moment, and they're very happy with your progress. You are growing a lot, so that's good news for you. Keep doing it. I'm out in space. It's like the Star Trek Enterprise, and I'm looking out there, and the Star Trek Enterprise is changing direction in space. So this is in spirit, and it's called Enterprise. So this could be to do with small business or some enterprise that you have, and there's a change in direction in your life. So I think this is fairly major, okay? It will take some months. You may not know what this is until, some time goes past. It could even be 6 months before you know clearly what direction you're to go in. But it is happening in spirit. That will take time to come down through the mental, emotional, and physical realms when you actually take action. So, well done you. Congratulations. And I'd just like to wish you a very wonderful and insightful month. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave me a comment and let me know how you're getting on. Can you relate to what I'm talking about? And don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell if you found this video helpful. Okay, have a great month and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.